So welcome to this practice today. This is 45 minutes of pure bliss. So we're going to work a number of different areas of our body, just releasing tension that we hold, whether it's tension that we're consciously aware of, or often it's actually tension that we're not aware of that's actually in our body. And until we actually get into a pose, into a shape, do we start to notice that, oh, wow, like that feels out of alignment, or this feels misaligned, or this or that feels out of balance. And so we're going to clear some of that out so that we can feel spacious in our body. You will definitely need a couple of blocks for class today. If you want to bring along a rolled up towel or blanket, or even like a pillow cushion or like a seat cushion, you can always have that to prop you up as well as an additional prop. Other than that, we really don't need anything else for this class. So we're going to begin with supported fish to open up the front of our body and just expand into our breath. So if you want to grab your blocks, now the block that's going to go behind your head, if you want more support for your neck, take it to the highest level. If you want to open, like if you're feeling really tight in the front of your throat and chest, you can flip it to the second level, okay? So that your head dips backwards, whereas with the block on this level, the chin will dip forward, okay? And then your block that's going to rest between your shoulder blades, let's keep it really gentle today. We'll run it on the lowest level, horizontal across our mat, okay? And then when you're ready, you can turn yourself around, start to come down, making sure that the blocks are not digging into the neck or into the low back. You literally want that block behind the heart center so that the heart area is lifted. And your head, well, it depends. If you've got the block on the high level, then you're going to be lengthening out the back of your neck. If it's on the second level, you're going to be lengthening out the front of your neck, okay? Arms come out. Can you bring them to shoulder height with a nice soft bend in the elbows, palms facing up. Feet can come into any shape, so you can take the feet wide with your knees bent. This will be more supporting. You can extend your legs long and wide. If you're craving some hip stuff, although we are going to be moving into some hip opening poses later, you're more than welcome to bring the soles of your feet together, open your knees into a butterfly shape. So once you have sort of landed in here, take a moment just to notice how you feel. See if there's anything that needs to adjust with the shape. And then as soon as you can be still, close your eyes. Let your eyes actually drift back into their sockets. And start to tune into your breath. I invite you to breathe in a way that in this moment, it feels effortless. So it may not necessarily be your deepest breath yet. That's okay. But when it does feel appropriate in your body, and you'll know because your breath will be already flowing with such ease, then you can start to really lengthen it, maybe drawing it all the way up to the very tip of your collarbones. And you can slowly exhale, like you're trying to draw a slow sip of water out through a straw. At any time, you can always reposition your legs, especially those of you that may have taken butterfly. You can also start to take the arms perhaps a little straighter, not a lock in the elbow, but just a little bit straighter so that you start to create more of an energetic pull along the heart and the lung meridian channels that run through your fingertips, through your arms, and all the way into the front of your body. We have just under a minute left here. Tuning into the vibration of your own breath, moving in and out through your body. Take 2 more deep breaths. And then when you're ready, if your feet are not already on the mat, start to bend your knees, place your feet on the mat, then heel toe your feet and your knees till they're side by side. Gently draw your arms now down towards your hips, turning your palms to face downwards. And we're going to make our way up into a seat, but I want you to just slowly start to shift your hips a little bit over to the right as you start to let your knees and your upper body start to roll over towards the left. Your right hand will come down, press into it, and just slowly lift up. Keep your head nice and heavy. And then once you come up, just come up to a cross-legged position for a moment. Let your head lift a little bit so that your chin is now in line with your chest. Hands resting on your lap. Spine is long, eyes closed still. Take about 2 to 3 breaths and notice, simply notice how you feel after one pose. Notice how you feel the energy moving back through your arms. Maybe a little bit of lightness or spaciousness around your chest, your ribs. One more deep breath. And then let the eyes softly open. You can take your props just actually in front of you to start with, And then if you have that blanket or towel or something that you have that you can roll up or sit on, you're going to grab that and you're going to come up and sit onto it. And ideally, you want to sit towards the edge of it in front of you so that your pelvis kind of naturally tilts a little bit, okay? And then grab your blocks and place them on either side of your knees and take your legs out in front. Okay. So we're going to move into 3 different shapes, one right after the other, and then we'll take a nice pause and then we'll move to the other side and replicate the same postures. So we're going to move first into shoelace. So 2 variations depending on how your knees and your hips are feeling. So if you're really tight, I want you to sit cross-legged with your right leg in front and your left leg on the inside. Okay, and that'll be your version of shoelace. If you're a little bit more open, you're going to cross your right leg over the left and then really carefully take the left leg back. So you're in a shoelace position. Now, sometimes what happens in shoelace is that top knee might kind of pop up a little bit. So if that happens, what I want you to do is grab a block and actually place it underneath your top ankle. So your knee will be out a little bit, but that's okay. They don't have to be stacked symmetrically one on top of the other. I'd rather have your knee supported through the block underneath the ankle than having your knee sitting out and causing stress on the joint, okay? Now, from here, those of you that have either 1 or 2 blocks still left, you have an option. You can just stay upright here. Maybe you place your hands on your thighs or your knees. Maybe some of you, the hip container is quite open already, so you need to fold in a little bit in order to feel some sensation. So this is where you could land your hands on the block, or if you have both of them, you can bring hands or you can bring forearms down. You can even come to elbows and just make some fists, stack it underneath your chin so that your head is supported, or you can just let your head hang if and only if that is comfortable on your neck. Sitting upright is also a beautiful place to be, especially for those of you that are already feeling the activation of the gallbladder meridian channel that runs through the outside of the thighs, up through your hips. And then with eyes closed, you begin to soften into the breath. Jaws relaxed. Shoulders rolling down and back. There is nowhere else to be but in this moment. If there's a lot of strong sensation, especially those of you that are very tight in the hip, I want you to back out a little bit and see if you can find a softer edge. And then let your breath deepen so that you nourish that nervous system state. That is where the magic happens, when we allow the nervous system to decompress. Allow for space between the upper and lower molars inside your jaw. Let the tongue relax towards the roof of the mouth. And then those of you, if you did take a forward fold in any capacity, I want you to start to lift back up until your shoulders are stacked above your hip line. And if you have the blocks in front of you, just take them off to the side, okay? And then take a nice deep breath in and out through your nose. And then from here, you're just gonna lean back into your hands. You're gonna, if you're in shoelace, you're gonna extend the left leg out, okay? And then from here, if you're in a cross-legged position, just want you to unwind the legs. And then we're gonna move right into a half butterfly where we're gonna take the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. And now if this knee is up high, grab a block, tuck it underneath there so you have some support, okay? If the extended leg is very tight, especially in the hamstring, bend your knee and put your foot on the mat instead. Or alternatively, if you want, you can also place a block kind of wedged underneath the hamstring for a little more support. Yeah. I don't want you to be concerned about what the shape looks like or that you're trying to replicate me. I want you to find a shape that actually just really feels nourishing in your body, okay? And then in half butterfly, if you have one or if you have both of your blocks at your disposal, you can kind of build yourself a little bit of a tower. And that tower might be just to bring your hands onto it and lean forward a little bit. Some of you might have the capacity to maybe grab these blocks, stack them like a tower, and maybe bring your forearms down, or maybe even stack fists, forehead on or forehead directly down onto the blocks. Okay. Finding what works for your body. For some people, upright with the knee open is already plenty of stimulation. So you choose what feels good in your body. I'm not even remotely interested in what your shape looks like. I'm more interested in how can we decompress your nervous system? Quiet your mind a little bit and focus on your breath. Tune in to the sound of your own breath, right between the top of your lip and the bottom of your nose. We're going to take 3 more deep breaths. And then from here, we'll shift into one more variation, one more shape before we take a rest. And if you folded, just slowly start to lengthen your chest back up until your shoulders are stacked above your hips. Once you're upright, you just take your blocks to the side for a moment. And whatever you're sitting on, just kind of shift your hips forward so you can take that out of the way. And then we'll move into deer pose. So you're going to keep the right leg exactly where it is. But if you're able to bend the left leg, you're going to bring that leg back, okay? And your knee can be in line with your hip, but it can also be tucked in a lot closer, okay, towards the foot. Now, if this is not accessible, if bending the knee back doesn't work for you, keep the leg out on an angle so that at least you have some sensation to work through the inside of the thigh. And then that right foot would ideally come in a little bit closer if you're in this variation, which is half dragonfly, okay? If you're in the deer pose, what you'll do with the front leg is try to see if it's able in your body to bring your knee in line with your hip. Now, for some people, it's out more. For some people, it's in more, so it's more on an angle. But if you have the availability without it compromising the knee joint, see if you can find that straight line. And then the same thing, your knee to your ankle, one straight line as well, with the toes flexing back towards your shin. Okay. Of course, the foot can come in much closer, and you could be in this variation, okay? Or even a little bit closer in. And you're literally sitting right onto your right sit bone. Your left sit bone is completely lifted, okay? Now from here, you can grab your blocks. Some people feel a little out of balance from here, so you're more than welcome to just bring your hands on the blocks for a level of support. You can also bring your blocks in front of you and you can fold in a little bit, whether it's on hands or maybe you fold onto forearms, and your blocks can go whatever height you need them to go at, okay? And again, you can support your forehead, neck if you want by just bringing your fists underneath your chin, or if it is comfortable, just let the head hang forward. So as you settle in here, we're not here for long, it's a couple of minutes. I invite you to begin to explore a much deeper exhalation. So as we start to accumulate the tugging, the stimulation of that gallbladder meridian channel on the outside of the thigh, for some people that brings up a little bit of irritation or frustration, and in which case we can use that deeper exhale to diffuse some of that, to clear some of that out. About 10 cycles of breath left. So go slow, there's no rush. Take your time. Take 2 more deep breaths. And at the end of your second breath, as you come out, you're going to make your way onto your back just to rest for about 5 to 6 breaths. So I don't want you to rush, I want you to take your time, but when you feel ready, just lift up enough that you can move things out of the way and kind of just turn yourself around. You'll keep your knees bent and feet on the mat. As you come down, your hands can either rest by your sides or you can leave them on your body. Eyes are closed. And if you need to, you can also extend the legs out as well if you prefer that option. Just notice how the outside of your right hip feels down towards the ankle joint. Just feeling into the difference between the left and the right side of the body. If your legs are extended, start to walk your feet back onto the mat. Give your knees a hug into the chest. Gently rock about 3 to 4 times from side to side. And then when you're ready, just slowly roll over onto one side of your body and begin to lift yourself up. Take your time. Keep your head heavy until you lift all the way up. And then as you come up, we'll come up back onto that cushion. And we'll be starting with the either cross-legged position or shoelace. So cross-legged is your jam today. Left leg in front, right leg on the inside. If you're working in full shoelace, let's cross the left leg over the right and let's swing the right leg back. Again, that option is available to you if your knee feels it's up too high. Grab that block and wedge it underneath your left ankle. Okay. And then again, you can sit upright, sit bones grounded. You can also start to fold in, whether that's a little bit or whether that's a lot. And roll your shoulders down away from your ears. Soften your jaw. Breathe deeply in and out through your nose. We'll take 5 more slow, deep breaths. Now on your next inhale, just slowly lengthen back up. Take any of your props that you have just to the side for a moment. You'll lean back a little bit. The right leg extends out. This time the left foot comes to the inside of the thigh for the half butterfly. And this knee can be supported with a block as required. And this leg can also bend if you need it to. Then when you're ready, it's your choice. You might just sit upright. Maybe you'll find a bit of a fold. Maybe you'll build a bit of a shelf and you'll start to fold forward. You always want to maintain the integrity of your sit bones grounded down onto whatever it is that you're sitting on. And as long as you find a shape where you feel just a little bit of sensation, it's not even that strong, it's very minute. That is just enough to start to get the energy to move through your body, to clear what you're holding on to. When the pose is too deep, the body creates resistance and creates more tension and more imbalance. The softer the approach in the shape, the release of resistance and the creation of balance is what happens. Smooth out any edges of your breath. I have about a minute left. Last 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, maybe you even keep your eyes closed. You'll slowly lift up. Take the blocks out of the way. Whatever you're sitting on, you can just sort of come off of that gently. And if it's available to you, you'll take the right knee and bend it back. And if that doesn't work for the knee joint, just take the leg out on a sufficient angle so that you can feel that liver meridian channel being tugged at. Okay. And then your front knee, ideally in line with your hip or somewhere close there, and then the same sort of degree with the knee to the ankle joint, okay, with a slight little flex of the toes back. Of course, things can be in much closer too. You want to sit kind of on that left sit bone heavy, right sit bone's lifted. And then if you want, you can be upright, hands on the blocks. Those of you that want to fold, you can fold forward. If it feels better to kind of fold over top of the front leg, you can. Just make sure you're not compressing too much in there that you cut off the circulation through the thigh. Just land in the first little place where you feel something's happening. Doesn't have to be that deep. It's just enough. And then let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Let your breath begin to flow effortlessly through your body. Shifting into about the last minute of our shape before we come into our final Shavasana, our final relaxation. Take 2 more deep breaths. And at the end of your second breath, take your time to slowly lift and lengthen just enough that you can move your props out to the side and start to make your way down onto your back. Now, as you come down onto your back, you can cover yourself up. You can put bolsters or blankets or blocks underneath your thighs if you like. If you would prefer to sit in a meditation position, you can join me. I'm going to sit in meditation. So either variation, whatever it is that works for you. Those of you that choose Shavasana, just make sure that you feel spacious in this shape. Your shoulders are drawn away from your ears. Your upper back is lengthened, palms facing up, eyes drifting back. Those of you in meditation, you're sitting tall. Feel grounded through your seat. Allow yourself to completely let go here. Before you begin to move your body, before you complete your practice today, I invite you to take a moment and tap into that feeling in your body and mind right now, this feeling of bliss, this feeling of freedom, of space, of creation. And just know that that feeling is available to you at any time. May you carry that with you as you need to. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.